When it comes to focal lengths of the lenses, the 16-35 will range from 16 to 35. The cool thing about the Sony a7 III is that you can punch in a little bit more by cropping the sensor. So it has a full sensor. Full sensor means that it just has a bigger sensor and it's better in low light capabilities. And a crop sensor is more of a smaller sensor, is not as great in low light situations, but it still gets the job done. And so the Sony camera, because it has a full sensor, we can crop it down and punch in a little bit more. So for example, a 16 millimeter is what the traditional real estate photographers use whenever they shoot a home. That's primarily all that they would shoot with. They wouldn't shoot with anything more than that. But what we do is we'll approach the listing with kind of like a marketing eye and say, or even a director of photography perspective, right? So a director of photography will go in and be like, these are the shots that you need to get in order to get all the assets from the house. So we'll approach it with that. So we'll want to market the home properly, and we'll shoot with 16 to get the space of the room. 16 millimeter focal length is going to allow us to get the spatial dimensions of the room. But then if we go into 24 or 35, that's to get kind of like the magazine luxury look, the elevated look that you typically cannot get with a 16 millimeter focal length. Again, the 16 millimeter focal length is to get the space. 24 and 35 is to attract the buyer to the listing, to the space. And typically we'll shoot 24 or 35 with kitchens, with dining rooms, maybe the exteriors if there's mountain views. If you step back further and you want to get the towering mountains, you'll step back further from maybe the patio furniture and zoom in to either 24 or 35 millimeter. And that way you get the mountains towering over the home. Otherwise, if you get close and you have a super wide angle, then you're going to have these tiny mountains with a huge dining table outside or patio furniture outside. And so that's when we would use different things, is to showcase the room in an elevated way. If you really want an artistic approach to your home and something that makes your home stand out and have elevated shots and have like the stock photography type for your listing, you'll want a photographer who does shoot in 24 or 35 millimeter. So that way they can get that beautiful composition photo and help you get some stock photos of that listing and attract buyers to your listing. The other advantage of 24 and 35 is at 16, if you were to get a shot of the dining room or a kitchen at 16 millimeters and it's a small space, it's going to be super distorted. And we've heard time and time again that when people walk into homes that the last photographer shot, that the homes don't look as big as the buyers had thought. And so when you shoot with the 24 or 35 with those spaces, you get true to life perspectives on that with almost no distortion. So when people come and look at the house, they know exactly what to expect and they don't feel like it's been a bait and switch.